It seems like so many people are terrified of WordPress, and there might be some reasons why. What's going on, everyone? My name is Leopoldo Perella and I do videos about web design, user experience design and the overall design process. On today's video I want to take you a little bit into WordPress, and I want to take a look and see if WordPress is something that we should still consider today to build our websites, and if there are any other alternatives that might make this even easier. So if you're interested in finding out about WordPress, my thoughts on it, and what alternatives we have today, stay tuned. So before we dive into talking about if WordPress is still good today, let's think about some other options that we have available to be able to build websites. And I'm going to be giving you my two favorite alternatives. And the first one is actually custom code, and this is just creating the front end with HTML, CSS or any other framework that you might be able to use, and the back end of your website with languages like PHP or any other language that will help you to connect your front end of the website to the back end. Now this sometimes is a bit of a scary alternative for businesses that may not have a front end or a back end developer, but for SaaS companies, for example, who do have a development team and they are going to be running their platform on the web as a web app or as a browser, on the browser, then they most likely are able to create something like this. Now as a designer, I know that not many of us can develop and not many of us can create websites, everything from scratch. So here's where something like Webflow allows us to also not have to deal with all the different things that we have to deal with in WordPress, the coding, the framework that they use, and be able to create the designs that we have designed into an actual website. Now of course, even with Webflow you do need to have some code integrated in your website, and you need to understand how HTML and CSS properties work within a website, but it doesn't mean that you need to know or to be a full stack programmer to be able to create something amazing on Webflow. There are also many different platforms like Squarespace, Wix and Weebly, and I can just go on forever, but most of them are very limiting to what you can do, and this is where I would always recommend Webflow, or if you want to even have more possibilities with your own platform, to do something that's custom coded for you alone. But now let's think about why you should still consider WordPress. And to be honest with you, WordPress is actually right now running most of today's websites. Most of the big websites that you might interact with are actually built in WordPress. And the reason for it though is that because the platform, even though it might seem confusing for some, it's actually a very strong platform with a lot of features that allow you to be able to build on your business. And I'm talking about being able to build a website for marketing, being able to build landing pages, and even being able to build something like Airbnb, or maybe something like any other, let's say food search platform or anything like that. You can use WordPress to build something like it once you know the framework and how the framework works. Then another thing that I have here on my list is that if you're looking for more of an affordable package or something like that, then WordPress might be the better option, because you're going to be able to get the server of your choice, so you don't have to pay, for example, the payment or the hosting account with Webflow. Now you also are able to probably host more than one website within your own package, so that will make it easier. However, it doesn't mean that the development of the website and the design of the website will be cheaper. It should always be about the same, since it takes about the same time to develop. Then the next thing that you might consider WordPress for is because you have so many different tools. And when I mean tools, I'm talking more about like plugins and features that allow you to be able to create more features within your website. So anytime you need something, you might just be able to get either a plugin that help you do this. The only thing to keep in mind though is that the more plugins you have, is the more maintenance you have to do on your website, and also the more load that goes into your website. But my last reason for keeping WordPress or considering WordPress is because one of the biggest updates I just did, making their website the web platform very secure and also a lot faster. I believe they removed a lot of things in the framework that used to make websites slow, and now with these new updates we're able to get your website moving faster, make sure that your website is secure. However, as you may know, not every website is secure if you don't maintain them properly, if you're not updating your plugins, and if you're not making sure that all your themes or anything you have created is up to date. So with WordPress though, you're going to have to know that you need to do a maintenance once a week, twice a week. It will depend on how many visitors you have and how many times things are getting updated. But if you're going to go with WordPress, there are certain things that you need to avoid. And one of them is creating a website that is or looks like a template that you can buy online. And this is what happens most of the time. Most of the time, for example, we have been able to see in websites that even ourselves that we have been creating or using WordPress to create websites for like 5-6 years, we still can't edit them because we have no idea how these people created this website. And I think that's what scares people away of WordPress, because sometimes when you go in the back end of these websites, to be able to do anything on them, you either need to know how to code, or you need to spend about 3-4 hours trying to figure out how this back end works so that you can update one image. So one of the things that as I said before, consider is not using a template. There are a lot of frameworks that a designer or developer can use to create your website, but stay away from templates. One, because it's going to be difficult for you to edit and to improve, and also because they have been built for a lot of people and not to just accomplish your business goals. And at the end of the day, that's what you need to do. And also, people know what templates are, they know what the templates look like, and sometimes what you don't want to do is that someone goes to your website and realize that your website looks in one specific way, and then they go to the next competitor's website and the website looks the same way, because now they won't be able to differentiate you from your competitors. So what you need to do, let's say you're gonna go and choose WordPress, which I do recommend for your website in 2020, make sure you design your website from scratch. And I'm talking about using design tools before you even think about developing anything. The second thing that you need to do is that you need to get a good hosting platform. I recommend SiteGround, which is where we host our website, because it gives us the speed and all the resources we need to continue growing our website. 3, actually make sure that you have set time in your schedule or in your calendar to go back within your website and make sure you update it, make sure everything is up to date, and that all the security parts of WordPress are installed. And once you have all this figured out and you have an actual website designed, now you can move into WordPress, look for a framework that helps or that will make the development of your website a lot easier. I would recommend something like Divi, not the plugin, because the plugin is a completely different platform from the framework, but I would recommend using Divi as a framework to be able to build your website and not as a template. And the difference is that the framework will give you like columns, rows, elements, all that without using plugins or having to install plugins, whereas our templates are already built just as the other templates for the masses and not to help you achieve your business goals. So I hope this helped you clarify some of the things about WordPress, the good, the bad about it, and also some of the alternatives that I would recommend. And if you have the budget, I would recommend going with Webflow. But WordPress is a great tool, and I think it will continue to be a great tool in the near future. So I hope you found this content helpful. Make sure to hit the bell button and hit the subscribe button if you haven't, so anytime I post another video you get a notification. I will see you again in the next.